Welcome to Why Your Business is Invisible Online, the podcast that connects businesses online with the people they want to serve. Joining me are my two co-hosts, and here they are.
I'm Jim Filatico. When I'm not helping my clients grow their businesses online, you can find me traveling with friends and family.
Hi, I'm Kelly Biggs, and I'm the AT alien of the group. I love hanging with friends and family, and when I'm not doing that, you can find me on Peloton. I've clocked over 2,000 rides so far.
And I'm your host, John Manatas from Oakville, Ontario, Canada, with my guitar in hand, my Wi-Fi on life support, but always in tune with my clients.
When you're thinking about search, you have got to think that your clients do not only go on Google. So yes, absolutely have Google as a part of your strategy of being found. Mm-hmm. And also, now there has been a shift that we know that Mark Zuckerberg, I always get his name wrong, Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Yes. That Mark Zuckerberg has said that there's going to be a search engine in Facebook. There's going to be a search engine in Instagram. We know that AI has its own search engines, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. So then that being said, this is where I'm wondering if the shift should be today is about, okay, we all know we got to be found on Google, but it's not the only game in town.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody's saying now, whenever you go, even on social media, what are your keywords? Like that never used to be the case before. Just post my dance video and I'm good. But now it's, what are your keywords on Instagram? What are your keywords on TikTok? What are your, everybody's asking for keywords, even with just with their simple search right now. Wait till it gets to a really complex search later on. So yeah, I agree. I agree with Zuckerberg. Eventually it's going to get so complex that it'll be, it'll be every platform that'll have a solid search engine.
So if you explored that, John,
mm-hmm.
you made a good point. I remember having a client mm-hmm. saying to me, and this particular client actually says this to me a lot. So mm-hmm. it's a woman. She owns her own business here in Sandy Springs, Georgia. Mm-hmm. She's a lovely lady. And so we're doing
what kind of business?
I'd rather not say. Today.
Oh, okay. Got it.
It's somebody who, they're doing a really good job on mm-hmm. their Google search. Okay. And, for her, typically for most people, I think you guys could attest to this when we look at our Google Analytics, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The number 1 and 2, and it depends on just your brand and your name recognition, are either direct traffic or Google that send traffic.
Organic search. Yep.
Yep. One of the two. Yep. Organic search. And when they say organic, they're talking about Google specifically.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Seeing that it's Google Analytics. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So that being said, so the conversation we had was SEO isn't working. SEO isn't working. So then we go look at this report and it's like, well, the number one way you're getting this number of visits to your website from Google searches. So explain to me how it's not working. Well, it's not working because I'm not getting any more clients than I was before because we're doing the same keywords and you're still at number 1 position. Do you want to add some more? Do you want to do something different? Mm-hmm. What do you want to do different? Do you want to pay for ad? Like, yeah, you're going to, at some point, it's going to be at status quo unless mm-hmm. you do something different, right?
Yeah, agree.
The same, and then I hear the same thing, which was my question I was going to ask you guys. I hear social media doesn't work. Social media isn't working for me, right? Mm-hmm. And so then I love to kind of like peel back the onion on that. And it goes back to, John, what you were talking about, where why isn't there's a difference, one, between organic search and paid search on social media. Mm-hmm. And they both, in doing them, the algorithms are honestly set up to do more for the people who pay them money. just like you might give your service away for free, but who are you going to take care of the most?
Yeah.
The ones that pay you the most money. I mean, it's a business.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's true. I'm just trying to think of, I have a client right now who we started off, and this is a client in the health and wellness space, and great client. They put together an amazing course on how to help women who it's their first pregnancy. They're naturally worried about a whole bunch of things, but no, it's not just for the women. It's actually for the husbands as well. Great course. Like, it has 120 videos, I think, built into it. A ton of knowledge. Yeah, it's amazing. And I think they're selling it retail in the 200s range. But we tried posting Facebook. We tried with Facebook first, and from a targeting perspective, Facebook's great targeting engine.
Absolutely.
But having a beautiful photo, and the photos were great, and the content that was posted underneath the photo was great, and we were generating leads. We were getting about 60 leads, I would say, a month, a decent amount. But what we found was today, people, they'll click on it, but they won't necessarily buy. They'll peruse. I mean, they're looking around. They're interested. But we did this for about 6 months, and the conversions were zero. And it's a great course. Like, I really looked at it. I wish we have 4 kids, and I wish I had it for every one of those situations. And I know my wife. We had a book back then, and we just would leaf through it for every little issue that came up. But what to expect when you're expecting?
I've heard of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is 10 times better than what to expect when you're expecting. But regardless, even though it's only $200, I guess most people still feel, well, I can get all my answers just by Googling the question, and I don't need a course, and I don't need the videos. And these videos weren't just regular Q&As. They were like a lactation specialist, a chiropractor, another specialist on, paying attention to your pelvic floor. I didn't even know what a pelvic floor was until now.
If you did, I would be concerned.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So there's no.
I don't know too many men that would know.
I'll just point to the back of our screen again. That's the pelvic floor right there.
Anyway, where I was going with this is that we've now shifted strategy. It has to be video, I think, to like your ads. I think in order to get even better engagement, we're going to need to go to video. And thankfully, these clients, they love being on video. They're great. Some clients are a little afraid of it. They're not. They're not shy at all. And so we're going to try that and see how that works. We're also going to work on, and I'm sure you guys have worked with email chains. So after you get the lead, you send this prospect down an 8 email chain, and every email has to add value. So even those are going to be now converted to video to see if we can get some sales. And then if not, then I think we're going to have to make this a lost leader, because they put so much time into this course. We'll just, as I told them, I said, if you give it away and measure customer lifetime value and loyalty that maybe this generates, then it becomes a decent strategy for you. But it seems like video is going to be key in getting some conversions and then some real sales. I don't know if you guys have any similar, types of campaigns that you've started and they didn't just go well for some reason.
Yeah, no, it's a good question, because it begs every digital marketer out there, I think, wants you to think that I've done stuff and everything works and we're going to be fine. Mm-hmm. What I found is that, especially with paid ads, and actually with everything that we do, everything is a science. I mean, not a science, the opposite of a science.
No, it's both art and science.
Science, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember working with, and I think I have somewhat of a formula of people that I will not do paid ads with, and also people that I will do organic with. Number one, mm-hmm. They're people who post, or one, everybody should post organically. Everybody should.
Yeah. I
And
agree.
whether that's content you create or whatever. I mean, I get business and I don't do a lot of video. I don't. I'm always, though, very thoughtful about how often I'm posting and what I'm posting about. Meaning, if you're posting organically and the only thing you're posting is an offer, buy from me, go do this, and you're not giving back and you're not positioning yourself as a thought leader and it's all about you and you're not, here's where I think a lot of people fail. You're not interacting with other brands. You're not, if you're a B2B and you're looking to connect with people, but you don't have, I'm going to say, and I'm not, they don't pay me to say this. If you're a B2B leader and your team does not have sales navigator, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
You are. Because your team should be responding on your desired accounts, the people within that organization. So then guess what? Because every time you comment, it's like having a mini billboard, right? And so you have this mini billboard. And then when Jim calls into whatever the B2B client, the manufacturing company, and says, hey, I want to talk to you about your social media or whatever. I know you wouldn't say it exactly like that, Jim. You're way more cool than that. But whatever, when Jim does call, in the back of their mind, they're like, hey, I've heard of this company before. Right? Because they've seen you and you're not just trying to get at one person within an organization. So that's one. But getting back to organic, and this applies to LinkedIn as well. There's a formula. I think it's like 411, right? The formula of you should 4 times just be talking about something that positions you as a subject matter expert, where you're adding value. And then one time you should be posting something personal, fun, not about business. And then so this 1 out of every 6 times, should you have a call to action that's driving people back to your business. And most people aren't willing or understand that there's an effort that goes into the social media in order to get found.
Yeah. Major effort. And when you say organic posting, you're posting to Google, but also to all the social media organic posts as well? Or just how wide do you go in terms of all the platforms?
That's a good question. I post to everything.
Oh,
but
good.
to your original point is, what audience am I trying to reach? Who's my target? If I'm targeting a millennial, Gen Zer, I'm going to have a lot of video content.
Yeah.
I'm going to post it I mean, LinkedIn is okay with video content. Facebook is a hit or miss. Hey, Facebook is the only one that doesn't have a real formula I've found. Like, just post. It's kind of indifferent. Make sure you have your hashtags. Make sure you thought about that, right? So anyway, I don't know, Jim, what about you with this topic?
I was actually the VP of sales reached out and we had a great conversation, and he was concerned because he wasn't hitting his sales numbers. And
VP of sales was concerned about not hitting
yeah, go figure, right?
Yeah.
And of course, he wouldn't take any blame, so it was marketing's fault, right? That's the story of ages.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we had a great conversation. We started talking about it. I said, well, let me do this. Let me do a web scan. Let me look at your analytics. Let me see, how people are finding you, where they're finding you, all those kind of things. And when I reached back out to say, let's get together to go over what I found, he said, hey, I'm inviting the CEO. And I was super excited. I'm like, okay. So I said something right in the first meeting, first of all, right, that he actually wanted to include the CEO. So we get on the call and we start going through analytics and we start looking at organic versus direct, knowing the company name. And I went through how, yes, it's great that people type in your name and find you on Google. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. The brand is a solid brand.
Exactly. That means you have a brand name.
Yeah.
But what about all the people that don't know your name? If you're not found organically, your available market just got reduced by 90% or more, right?
Hey, Jim,
So I
talk a
explained,
little bit more about I think that that's something that people don't quite like when you say if you're not being found organically.
sure. So if someone goes to Google and types in, Acme Plastics Company, and they see Acme Plastics Company, they click on the link and they go to their website. That's what we call direct, right? They knew the company name, they went there and they found it. Now, instead, if you typed in automotive parts, plastic automotive parts manufacturer, then you get a different search result, right? And you may or may not show up in that first fold, that first, 10 companies that are listed. And if you don't show up on the first page, let's face it, you're not going to get clicked. You're not going to be found, right? Because they're not going to keep scrolling. The expectation is everybody's, human nature is, well, if they're at the top, they must be the best. And, it took a while for them to even figure out that the top was actually people paying to be at the top, right?
To be at the top, exactly.
And, it went from saying ad to being sponsored, whatever, pick whatever name you want. They were still paying to play and paying to be there. But right below that in the past was the organic people, the people that Google really found was the experts. So if you're not found there, you're just not going to be found unless someone knows your name or you're going to pay to play. And when you pay to play, there's all kinds of other things that come into play, whether you have good reviews, whether they think your website is any good to actually show in the first place, all those things. So anyway, so we started going over his website, and it was a decent looking website, but it was a industrial manufacturer's website. So it was probably built in the 90s at best.
We all know what that looks like.
We know what those look like because they all look the same.
Yeah.
And I said, what's great is the one thing that keeps popping up that I see is that you come up number one for automotive plastic parts.
Okay.
And I thought I just hit a home run. Turns out that they lose money every time they sell an automotive plastic part.
Oh, wow.
Because if you've ever dealt with automotive or anything like that, the way that they just beat the hell, the OEMs, the Fords, the Chevys, whatever, beat the hell out of the suppliers, and they expect just-in-time delivery. They expect lowest cost, all those things. And so it's really difficult to make money, especially if you're a smaller business, right? And so they said, we don't even want to sell automotive parts. We don't, I'm like, oops.
And the boss yell at the salesperson?
Oh, they had tense looks at one another, on Zoom. So,
okay. Wow.
So they were really upset that that's what they were being found for. And I said, well, first of all, I would adjust your website to take that emphasis off, and whatever you're most profitable with, whatever you really love to sell, what really, or maybe you have a special niche that really helps you sell that product. That's what you write about. That's what you post. That's all those different things. I think I did such a great job that they either did it themselves or they went somewhere else, because I think I upset the CEO and the sales guy. And I, to this day, we'll like each other's thing on LinkedIn and stuff. And we'll, if you want to call that communicating, we'll communicate. But the CEO, not so much.
Wait up. Let me understand this. You opened their eyes to a major issue because they were losing money on every one of these searches.
Yeah.
And then they didn't continue.
Well, I think, and we've said this in past podcasts, I think we called their baby ugly. Right?
Yes.
And it's like, they were embarrassed, or they were uncomfortable with the fact that they weren't doing something right, and that they thought they knew it all. And so, I kind of learned my lesson. I had a similar situation with a lawyer that he didn't want to believe that he needed to do SEO to show up, because his reputation was so great and he was so well off and doing so well. And I'm like, well, why are we having this conversation then? If you don't need a website because everything's referral and you don't, then, and he didn't like that either. So
I'm dealing, it's funny with lawyers. It's funny. It's an interesting issue, because I have, I'm working on a website right now, and we threw a bit of a roundabout way. We landed in the same place you just described, Jim. He doesn't want to do SEO. He basically feels he's that famous. Everybody knows who he is. I don't agree because I'm just looking at other hints that the internet gives you. I think he needs SEO. And
what kind of hints?
Yeah, when you do searches on the internet for certain topics, if he really was that famous, it would come up. You like a variety of different. A lawyer in the criminal law space should come up somewhere on page one if you're that famous. Like we have like the Brian Greenspan name in Canada it comes up every time. If you're talking criminal law, it's going to be there. He's not Greenspan. And so I still think he needs SEO to help him get business, but he just wants to try to create a simple one-page website and actually just put his all the articles he's published. He published quite a few, so that was good. But he basically just had articles he wants to put in his bio in terms of, how he became a lawyer and some of the highlights of his career. Great. I said, no, that's good. That's solid. You need that. And that's it. That's all he feels he needs. And I said, well, not really. If you don't, if we don't get you out there for certain keywords, you're not going to be able to compete with Greenspan and people like Greenspan. They will always be the people on page one. And so, yeah, similar to you, Jim, it's, I guess you just got to try to help certain people, but but sometimes they don't want to listen, and that's fine. So you walk away in a nice way.
If you're able to help him with his website and you help him do that and just say, hey, if you ever need anything, because those are the folks that don't believe they need maintenance for their website. They don't need to update their website and all those things. So hopefully they come back to you.
Yeah, we left on a good note. Yeah, there's no.
Yeah, so it'll be fine. Yeah, I talked about a chimney place in the past. That same kind of thing. 2 or 3 years ago, we went over the same kind of thing. You're not being found and those kind of things. And they were like, okay, thanks. And didn't hear from them for 2 years. But it was one of those things where like, yep, they must have figured out, okay, we're not being found. So we better, whatever we're doing isn't working.
Oh, they called you back.
They called me back. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
okay. What did they say?
So
what did they say when they called you back?
They just said, we're ready.
Oh, we're ready.
Basically.
Okay.
We're ready. We're ready. We're ready. So let's see what we can do. So, I think, we all have that attitude that we want to help. We think we can help. We think we have the right levers to pull, the right strategy to put in place. And if that works, great. But if not, I'm not going to try to force it down your throat.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it. So let them figure out.
It's really cool that you brought that up because I just had a conversation yesterday with an arborist. So one of my networking contacts in my BNI group, so Business Networking International, all three of us are part of that group. We have our groups. Anyway, I get a call from this person. I don't even know who they are because my BNI contact didn't tell me, be expecting a call from this person. Anyway, we figured out that it was one of the IT guys in my BNI group, and it was an arborist, basically. And so where I'm going with this is I'm finding that I'm giving away, and I know we talked about this in the past, but I give away free information just because I think we're all like this. We try to help to some degree. We don't spend hours on it, but we definitely give away certain tips to get certain people rolling and started, especially if they're already giving you inclinations on the phone that they tend to be do-it-yourselfers. So this guy had already built his entire Wix site. I haven't seen it. Don't even know if it's any good. I know, as I said to him, I know Wix has upped their game when it comes to SEO, so you might want to find out what their modules look like and so forth. Where I'm going with this is I think they're going to come back. It might not be 2 years from now. I think this guy's going to come back because I gave him some good tips on things he should immediately do now if he has the time, energy, and so forth. I think he's going to find out very quickly he doesn't have the knowledge to do this on his own. He's probably a great arborist, but he doesn't know much about digital marketing. And so I don't know if you guys now still, in the past, remember how we didn't want to give away all of our secrets and our tips and our strategies for free on calls. Now I tend to find it's okay to do it to a point, and then they might come back, just like Jim's chimney clients. And that wraps up another episode. My name is John.
This is Jim.
And I'm Kelly. Thanks for joining. Hey, don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you for tuning in to Why Your Business is Invisible Online. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do us a favor and subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple. Be sure to share it with other business owners who might find it helpful. If you want to dig deeper, contact us at ruinvisibleonline.com. That's capital letter R, capital letter U, followed by invisibleonline.com. Or message us on our LinkedIn business profile with the same title, Are You Invisible Online? The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and may or may not reflect the official policy or position of WSI Corporate. Always consult a qualified digital marketing expert before making significant changes to your online strategy. Until next time, keep connecting with the people who matter most to your business and join us for our next episode.